Good morning, I'm Anthony. This is our neighbor's cat, Watson. He's gonna help me today. Huh, Watson? So, I got this recently. It is a lab fermenter. And I'm not exactly sure what pieces are missing here. Oh, my helper's leaving. I'm not exactly sure how this runs or what pieces I'm missing, but looking into this a bit, it's missing quite a bit. So it's got that nice old look to it. It's got the sandy yellow, beige, whatever appearance of like late 70s, early 80s. So we're gonna tear it apart and melt some of what we find today. Right off, call some attention to a motor. There's a vacuum pump down below and a power supply. And the power supply is gonna have some copper. The motor, I'm actually gonna leave as is. This is a pretty strong motor. I think it's only a 1/4 horsepower, but I think I'm gonna leave it for a possible future project. And there's some copper pipes in here. Part of the vacuum assembly called for copper tubing, so we'll have some copper to melt today. Let's go ahead and tear into this. Part of why I love doing what I do is it's kind of like a puzzle. You got to figure out what's going to come off next in the most logical order. All right, so I'm trying to debate whether I want to take the motor off first or unfasten these screws that are holding the top down. I'm afraid if I take out the screws, then the top will become unstable as I'm working with the motor. Those are some pretty serious fuses there, and this is our power supply. So let's work on clearing the top first, and then we'll take this top panel off. It is a 1/4 horsepower DC, just a standard motor. All right, so now we're gonna look down in here. We're gonna follow this cable management. And you can actually get a good look if you can see it. There's the pump for our vacuum and our copper wire. Our copper tubing. This whole assembly is copper, so that's pretty nice. Pretty excited about that. Let's see, we're following this line. And I found where it ties in. So let's go ahead and release numbers 1 and 2 here. We've got our motor detached. Now, our motor has this steel panel on it still, and it has its own mounting bracket of its own. Let's go weigh this, I'm curious. Oh yeah, I stained my workbench. That'll help it last a little longer. Okay, well, it says it can go up to 50 pounds. I highly doubt that this motor is even close. 19 pound. Oh, 8.5 kilograms. But a lot of that could also be this steel plate right here and the other steel mounting piece here. So, 20 pounds-ish in the motor assembly. Cool. Well, let's keep going across this top here. This panel I know you probably won't be able to see it, so I'll just have to tell you. So it's about 25 pounds. So this top panel is 25 pounds. Well, what do we do next? Okay, I'll do my best not to get in the way here, but there's just no room. So I apologize if I get in front of the video at all, but we're gonna free up these clamps, these hose fittings, and try to get this copper assembly out of here. While we're here, we might as well grab this vacuum pump. Good vacuum pump. Wonder if it still works. Fan still has bearings. That's good. Don't see any reason why this would be non-functional. Let's go ahead and snip this with enough wire to play with later. Snip it right there. All right, let's work on getting these brass fittings out and these copper wires out. That should be it. Let's pull this bundle out. Huh. That is a mess of plastic and wires. I'm not so excited to tear this apart. I will not be melting this today. All right, so let's take a quick tour of what we've done. We've torn into this old fermenting lab system. We got a few stubs of wires and maybe a little bit of brass that we could have claimed, but I'm done tearing into this. It's been a few hours, and as much fun as it was, I'm ready to melt stuff down. We've got our vacuum pump over there. We've got our quarter horsepower motor and its pulley system right there. We got a whole, I don't know what you want to call this, a spaghetti pile of wires and plastic fittings. But what I'm going to melt down today is this copper. Got quite a bit of copper, and we do have some brass. Let's take a quick look at the brass. Down in here, not a whole lot, but we got some brass fittings, and there will be some brass fittings on some of the copper here. I'll do what I can to isolate it, but I don't know. Huh. Well, the neighborhood lost power. We're out of power, so we'll have to clean this up another day. Let's go ahead and finish up the video though. I don't know when we're gonna get power back. Oh, those are still extremely hot. Man, copper is really good at staying hot. So we're gonna have to finish up the video as a partial. We'll clean up this brass another time. But yeah, 3 bars of pretty close to pure copper. There's a little bit of brass in those, but not much. And then this nice bar here. I was gonna weigh these. The brass isn't too hot. We got about 1.25 pounds, 582 grams. We're gonna put the brass down and tare this so we can put the copper on top, because the copper is so hot. Ow. Oh man, that's hot. We got 4 pounds, just a little bit more than 4 pounds of that copper, which is just short of 2 kilograms. Very nice. Yep, we're still zeroed out with that brass. Awesome. Well, that went pretty well. It's what I expected. Some copper, some wires, the motors. I'd say all in all, I could probably estimate that had, price of copper I don't really know right now. Everything's kind of changed so much in the last few months. But I don't know, I'd guess between $20 and $25 worth of scrap if I was to scrap everything. If you can see behind me, I've got the motor. I actually plugged that into my voltmeter and I spun it by hand, and without any effort at all, it got up to 12 volts. So that motor, that would make a really interesting wind turbine. It has 2 pulleys on it, and it should make a pretty interesting turbine to be able to collect power out of the wind. So we're gonna play around with that. We're not gonna sell that. We're not gonna destroy that. Those wires, they're coated. Some are not pure copper. They've either got a zinc or a tin coat on them or whatever, aluminum. I don't even know what goes into all those wires, but we're gonna sell those. Right now, I believe those would go as a medium insulated unless I strip them. But a medium insulated, that's almost $1 per pound. And they were about 4 pounds. I got all the plastic off, and it came to about 4 pounds. So that's about $4 worth of copper or insulated wire. If you were entertained by all this, please leave a comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Good night.